I think we're homies for life now. If you make someone a gong, you're like, we're mates now, aren't we? You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Gong Brothers.
Yeah.
I think that's what you call it.
I feel like that means something else. It probably does. Doesn't it?
It probably does. It's too close to dong, isn't it? So yeah,
It's
you
close
could.
to
Yeah,
dong, yeah.
it's very close to dong.
Welcome to episode 40 of The Ride Companion. I'm Ollie Wilkins.
My name's Davey, and I hate saying my last name, so we're just going to go with Davey,
Go on,
almost
say it.
like Madonna.
How do you say it?
It's Burks, but I have a lisp sometimes, so I can't really say my last name properly without people sometimes laughing at me.
That's a
so
stinger.
Yeah, so it's Burks. But
Try it now, I promise I won't laugh.
Davey Burks.
Got him!
It's tough, dude. It's tough.
You say it perfect, dude. Don't worry about it.
Some names go together beautifully, and they work. Mine's too. I don't know what it is. If it's is it called not a consonant? It's where you clap. Davey Burks. It's only like it doesn't
3
flow
syllables.
anyways. That's it. Syllables, not a consonant. Syllables. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm an idiot, and it just doesn't flow. Like some people's names flow. They have like a ring to them.
I don't know.
Andreu Lakondagi.
Yeah,
it's a nice name.
Dude, yeah, it's a nice name. You're right. You are right. Yeah. But I think there's an element of just like not liking what you've got. There's a small amount of that. You're sick of it.
Yeah.
Like Oliver Wilkins doesn't sound like a cool name. That just like sounds like a person name. That just sounds like a name that you call in a register. The bloke doesn't, Oliver Wilkins.
Yeah.
It's not like what's a cool name?
It's a bit John Smith, you mean?
Yeah, it's just
a bit standard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like, what's a
cool
cool
name?
There must be a cool name. Danny DeVito. Are you serious? Is he even really called that? Danny DeVito.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, Steven Seagal. But if it was Seagal, it wouldn't be as good, would it?
No, it wouldn't actually. Yeah, names are weird, dude. I don't know what I feel about 9. Anyway, we're on episode 40.
Who's name in mountain biking?
What?
Hans No Way Ray. Hans
That's
Ray.
a good one.
That is a nice name.
That is a good one. I feel like Jackson Goldstone is such a cool name
solid,
as well,
dude.
That's a solid name. You can flex with Jackson Goldstone. What else we got up there? I don't really know many. Win. I like Win. That's nice. Win. Yeah. Win Masters.
Yeah, that is nice. That is good. That's a solid name.
Mm.
And Eddie. Win and Eddie Masters they've got good names. Brendan Fairclough, that's about as good as Oliver Wilkins. It's a terrible name. Thank fuck for Brendog and thank fuck for the nickname Odub. Otherwise we'd be fucked, wouldn't we?
All the UK guys have all just got like standard names.
Yeah.
Joe Smith.
It literally just sounds like in a register, doesn't it?
Bernard.
Bernard Kerr. Bernard Kerr's
all the UK
actually, I think Bernard Kerr's quite sick.
Yeah, Bernie's cool. He should run with Bernie more, I feel like.
Because you could wear a fur coat and be called Bernie, couldn't you?
Yeah, you
Oliver Wilkins, I literally can't wear a fur coat. I'm fucked. My name's not cool enough. Yours isn't either, by the way. Don't be smiling at me.
No, mine ain't cool, dude. Mine's whack. But I'll go with it. It is what it is.
Why not?
You can't change it, man. So
although you have.
Yeah, true. Actually, I did.
You can't
change it. I remember first seeing like Davey Millsaps and thinking, "That's cool. I like that."
Yeah,
and then thinking,
that.
"Fuck, we got the same name. I can do it. I can ditch it." And it was literally from that. It was from seeing Davey Millsaps as a kid as well, dude. As an actual child.
Davey's cool.
But not with the second bit. That's the problem. It's the second
Ollie
part.
Ollie isn't cool. Ollie sounds like someone who lists "I'm bubbly" on their dating profile. Doesn't it? It fucking rhymes with jolly. It sounds like, I'm
Jolly
quite
Ollie.
bubbly. I'm a people person. Ollie. Doesn't it? Hey, we're not getting anywhere. Can I do something?
Yeah.
This is shit for our listeners, who are the majority of our
the vast majority.
Yeah, the vast majority. But you're gonna have to check out the YouTube to see what we're up to. Well, let's do it on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1.
Oh!
Yeah! Right, to our listeners, we have got
fireworks.
Signs. We've stepped it up. It looks cool though, dude. We're gonna have to get. We need to get it in the thumbie. It looked cool.
So hyped. That's so
Yeah.
sick. Look at it. Mate, is it an actual thing now? Like, we hit episode 40 and it was like, all right, it's time for the neon sign. It's kind of like when you get YouTube and you get 100,000 subscribers. You get your thing.
It is,
So we've made it to 40 episodes. Here you go, ladies and
I think
gentlemen.
it's a real podcast. I think it's not going anywhere now. Now that we got a neon sign.
Yeah, man. You can't weigh them in, so...
Yeah, so you're going to have to check us out on our YouTube, actually, to all our audio listeners, to actually see how cool our neon signs are. Our neon signs are
sick.
courtesy of Neon Filter. Their Insta is Neon Filter IG. You can check them out, and you can also order your own neon sign. We don't have a code yet. We were going to sort out a code. I need to get in touch.
Oh,
with
mate,
James,
let's sort a
sort
code
it
out.
But how cool is that? I can't tell you
Mate.
how cool. Also, they go up
Stoked.
and down. This isn't actually a real advert. They
Look at it.
It makes my bike room look so cool. It goes from looking
And
like...
I bet it'd be cheaper than having the actual lights on in your house. So we did all this cost of living thing.
Yeah.
Just have the neon lights on, maybe just use that instead. I'm
I
sure
don't
George
think
would
they
be
do use up
stoked.
a lot. I don't know.
Less than a light bulb, surely.
Yeah.
And more like...
Mate, it looks
Actual-
so cool. I feel like I'm inside an Instagram post. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, it's
Neon
dope.
lights
I'm
are
stoked.
cool, aren't they? So
Yeah.
giant shout out to Neon Filter IG. If you want to go on Instagram, check them out. It's at Neon Filter IG. And
For real,
I'm sure
though, I guess we've got loads of people listening to this who've got their own businesses, an office,
Yeah, true.
or even a bike cave, and you just want to have your name. Maybe it's a better name than Davey or Ollie. You just want to have your name in neon. Then hook it up. Neon Filter at Neon Filter.
It
I'm
is
stoked.
the perfect
So nice.
company,
The
mate.
quality is
Yeah.
insane.
Do you know they
beautifully
also
made.
offer a service? So let's say you draw on the back of a napkin, you draw a design that you like, something that you want in your bike cave. They can literally take that design and make it a reality using their design team.
Wow.
Yeah, they couldn't have been more helpful, and stoked with the result. Can't tell you how cool
mate,
it actually
so
looks.
sick.
It does look
Yeah.
wicked, doesn't it?
Super sick.
Yeah, so we've stepped
Super
it up
sick.
to all our audio listeners. You need to check out us on YouTube as well.
Yeah, you do.
Just
Come
so you can
over
see
and
the
join the
sign.
party.
Yeah, why
Just
not?
so you
Yeah.
can see the neon sign. If you don't
why
want
not?
to see our boring name faces, then move on. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
all good.
absolutely. Interestingly, basically everyone listens to the podcast, and we don't really
Most
have
people.
much. But I wonder if
Most
that would
people.
change. It'd be interesting to hear from our listeners, because that would be largely through the podcast app. Is that correct?
That is through the podcast app, iTunes podcast app,
Which is what I use,
or
as
Spotify.
well.
Yeah,
or Spotify. Yeah,
That's
So-
where the most of our listeners are. But
Yeah.
so I don't know where you're going with this. I'm just going to interject there. Massive thank you to everyone last week who actually did subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe again. And if you are listening on iTunes or Spotify, please leave a review. We've not had a review on iTunes for a minute, man. It's been since December since we last got a
there you
review.
go.
So come on, folks. Submit a little review. We know how many people are listening.
Leave a funny one. We might get you a prize if you leave a funny enough one, as long as it's positive, you know.
Yeah, not just horrible. Might be good for the algorithm though, just a 1-star review and just maybe something. No, please don't do that. If you are listening, wherever you listen, please subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe again. It's a little cheat code that we've discovered through someone
I like
else.
the idea of it. We don't even know if it's true yet, do we?
It
we don't
must
know
work,
if
dude. We gained 80 YouTube subscribers last week.
Did we? Yeah, is that so?
Yeah, which is decent. For a podcast for this podcast to get another 80 on top of what we've already had. It's kind of cool.
How mad is that? There you
So
go.
maybe it's a little cheat code. So thank you. Like the episode.
Wicked.
I know we sound like we're begging. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
But we're in this together, man. And this whole ride companion thing, we're all companions and we're all coming up together. You know, you guys are early to where this thing's going, I'd like to think.
too right. The
So
early gang.
we're all coming up. So yeah, please, it does
is
help.
it
Really helps.
yeah, and it is great fun, isn't it? I don't want to not do it. Not that that's on the cards.
We've got a sign now.
Yeah, we've got a sign now with fucked. Yeah, exactly. I also on the note of shout-outs, this is
please.
what I love about this stuff. We literally weekly talk shit and talk about nothing, and from our weekly nothing talks, I have another shout out. This
Please.
time it is to Adrian Wood, who has made a gong. He's a blacksmith, and he's made a gong for the hot seat racing, which I love. How obscure is that? We've now got a gong for hot seat racing. Giant shout out to Adrian.
Big shout out, Adrian.
Yeah, you can actually check out his work. He's a blacksmith by trade on awartistblacksmiths.co.uk. He does all sorts of stuff. It's fascinating to watch.
That's cool. How cool is it that we can send little traffic their way? That's dope.
Yeah, exactly. It's wicked.
Please, go check it out. Why not? It's funny. Go over, shoot a like.
I think we're homies for life now. If you make someone a gong, you're like, we're mates now, aren't we? You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Gong brothers.
Yeah.
I think that's what you call it.
I feel like that means something else. It probably does.
It probably does. It's too close to dong, isn't it? So yeah,
you could. Dong, yeah.
It's very close to dong. That's dope. Thank you, Adrian. We appreciate that. That's super cool.
Nice
and thank you to everyone. Again, like, it sounds so cliche, but massive thank you to everyone who does continue to support this. Because, like you said, I seen you said that, and dude, the episode had been out a few hours, and we've already got someone like, I'll make you a gong.
It's insane. Oh yeah.
You know what? Absolutely. Actually, sorry. On another shout out, but I'm not allowed to use his name, because we spoke a little bit last week about the whole afterlife thing, and like, you know, we went a little bit more of a spiritual route last week. Yeah. And dude, a lot of messages from people saying that they've had an experience, or we had a guy reach out who worked on. Do you remember Most Haunted? It was on Bravo, I think it was. It was on Sky. It was that Derek Acora. We had a guy reach out who was part of that like production team, who was saying that he had some actual gnarly experiences, but also caught out a few mediums that were coming in to do the show. So we had that. We had a guy reach out who told me a really beautiful story about when I believe it was his mum, forgive me if I got that wrong, or it might be Nan, sorry, who, when she passed away at a certain time, let's say it was 11 p.m. at night, his son, who they weren't in the same house or anything, was like saying his grandma's name over and over as if she'd come to see him, and he was like, I really hope that that's what actually happened, that as my nan or mum passed away, that she came to visit my son. And I was like, whoa, thank you, like, for sharing that. It's super nice. I said I wouldn't say his name, and I also said, well, I've also probably butchered the story, I'll be honest with you, but I'm sorry, it was a week since I read it. But yeah, just so many people reached out with stories and anecdotes and things.
Rad.
And
so we've got to explore that route more. Make it like
people like it.
Yeah,
people like it. People like that route, man. I'm not mad at it. I want to learn more. So yeah, please.
Too right. I'm in.
Okay.
Sounds
sorry.
Good.
Hijacked the conversation there to give shout outs to people that support the podcast. It's beautiful.
No, it's good. It is good though, isn't it? Hey, it takes me on to what I've been up to. I was going to ask you what you've been up to, but I went to Goodwood and I bumped into I went to Goodwood Members Club meeting.
Wow,
and I bumped into loads of people that, I'm not a member. It's just the name of an event. It's called Members Club Meeting or something like that.
Oh, right. What is it like? What is it?
So, it's a big historic car meeting and race around Goodwood Circuit, which is wicked. Are you familiar with Goodwood?
I'm familiar with Goodwood. I'm familiar with the Goodwood Festival of Speed, which I guess this is different. This is a more smaller event.
It is smaller, yeah. It's not by Goodwood House. That's where the Festival of Speed is. This is around Goodwood Racetrack and Airfield. I mean, I really like Goodwood as a place. It's just like a cool, old, historic British.
Can't say I've ever been to Goodwood, dude.
Well, you're coming next time maybe we'll go.
Yeah, we'll see.
If there's something on, maybe we'll go. But I think you'd like it. It's cool. It is really cool. So it's like I actually don't know the history of the place. It's like some lord. I don't know.
Is it
some fancy old rich family? But
and it's a town.
No, it's just a.
Oh right.
What's the point in me just butchering it?
Guessing.
Just look it up. Yeah.
Just guess.
Yeah, we're literally
There's a guy sat here listening to this going, I live in Goodwood. It is a town.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's got a community centre.
Mate, it might be. I don't really know. Oh, another shout out to Not the Real Wob Warner for getting me tickets, by the way, as well. So again, I'm only there because of our bloody podcast.
Oh, really?
Anyway, so
we are on the take here, aren't we?
Yeah, I know, right? It's obviously the home of Goodwood Revival and Goodwood Festival of Speed. Yes. Okay. So where's the Wikipedia? I lean heavy on Wikipedia. I'll be honest, and it is literally bollocks that people have written, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Goodwood Circuit is a historic venue for both 2- and 4-wheeled motorsport in the United Kingdom. The 2.367 mile circuit is situated near Chichester, West Sussex, close to the south coast of England, on the estate of the Goodwood House, and completely encircles Chichester Goodwood Airport. This is the racing circuit dating from 1948, not to be confused with the separate hill climb course located at Goodwood House, first used in 1936. So basically, yeah, it is just a rich bloke's house.
Yeah, but it's not a town, which is cool. Yeah. We know now. That's nice. Bit of history.
I bumped into a couple of podcast listeners there, so it's always cool too. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I just think that's rad, yeah.
Mate, they're the sort of circles that we run in, innit? You know, we're at like events, car events, cool shit. That's where our family is, man. That's the circles that we run in.
It was good, actually. I saw... so the takeaways for me from Goodwood were... well, it was loads of old cars, so it's a historic race around this circuit. So you get to watch them, and it's basically rich people in their weekend projects. But it is cool. It's cool to see. They're fully...
Dude, no doubt.
Yeah,
we've had this conversation before. It's like, if you're into that thing, if you're into cars, unfortunately, part of that is you need an expensive car.
Yeah.
That's what exactly. It is, you know? And it's the same with bikes. If you're into bikes... Yeah. What do you mean they play for keeps? Are they like smashing them up and stuff?
Well, they're not. They're spinning off the track, yeah. And it is bumper to bumper racing, and these are inexpensive cars. Like there was like real AC Cobras going round, which are worth eye-watering amounts.
Wow.
Really, really expensive cars. A Cobra wasn't even the most expensive. They were super rare. Ferraris, rare everything. I mean, okay, so there was a demo event with old F1 cars. That was insane. Really? Senna's son was there, Bruno Senna, and he was driving an old McLaren. And when you actually hear a car rev to whatever it is, 13,000 RPM, it is mental, because you can hear that this is like the whatchamacallit, V12 era. They rev so high. To hear an engine like that rev that high is just like shocking. You think it's going to stop because you're worried it's going to blow up, and then it does like another 30, 40%. Yeah, it is bizarre, and it's unpleasant. It is actually unpleasant. Some of the F1 cars were obviously shitters.
Oh right,
they just sounded spluttery, and like they couldn't get up to speed, or they couldn't get brakes up to temperature, or whatever.
Really,
mate, I loved it.
I'd like to check that out, man. That sounds nice. I
good.
don't really know much about it. You know, it's not really my scene normally, but yeah, I'd love to go check it out. I love, I am a car guy, I guess, in theory. You know, I've grown up around cars. My dad's always been a car guy. Usually it's, Puntos, S-Class, 1 Series, that sort of shit. We don't have many Aston Martins. No,
there weren't many.
Was there not?
There?
Really,
No,
it's surprising, that dude. It's surprising.
But there are. There's just the car park alone is mad. I mean, honestly, I had a few moments this weekend where I just thought, how much fucking money does everyone have? Like, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like Goodwood, like the car park, as in where you park to go in. How many like that alone was like a car show? The car park.
What did you go in?
I went in the G like a loser. Yeah.
Did you?
Bought my collector's car, parked in a car park, talked to some people about it. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's part of it, isn't it? It's
talked
meeting
to some people
and...
about it. Yes, I did. Yes. Cars. Yes, cars.
Yes, I've got a matching hat. Yes,
yeah,
I have a coat.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what it's like. It blows my mind, though, man. It really does. And then the other thing I did. Sorry to bang on. This was all meant to be a question. To find out what you're up to. I also went to the Southern Enduro in Milan near me. And I pedalled there. You and me have done the same cross-country ride on e-bikes a long time ago. I pedalled over there, and I was like, I didn't really know where I was. I couldn't remember how to get there, so I was just cranking through the woods along paths. I came over the top of the hill, and I was like, fucking hell, I don't know where this race is, but that is a big old VW caravan convention, some sort of caravan club thing, because there's got to be 400 brand new transporters down there in a field. And I was thinking, fucking hell, how do 400 people have really new transporters? Turns out that was the Enduro race.
That's classed. I thought you were going to go, you came over the hill and you just hear, oi, oi!
Oi, oi, yeah, oi, oi, Tony was there. He was there. The
I seen he
Fetinator was there, yeah.
I see.
But it just blows my mind. Do you know
how
what I mean?
crazy is it?
Do you think that? I just think
100%. I've been thinking it a lot recently,
it?
especially more recently, dude. I'm like,
yeah.
you know, I mean, Emma and I were talking about the same thing in the car the other day. We were driving past the house, saw this beautiful house, and you think, how much money do you need to actually live in that house? Like, you know, what you always wonder, like, what does that person do? There's only so many jobs on the planet. Like, what do they do? You know, they got and I'm not really into the fancy shit, but they did have like a new Aston Martin or whatever it was, a Tesla, and like a little like a brand new Polo, obviously daughter, whatever's car. Nice big swanky house, and you're like, what do they do? You know, how come they're not 100%. Like this person should be on my TV at night? Like I should be turning on the TV, going, "That's the guy who lives in the house around the corner," but it's probably just some dude with a IT company or some
I have no idea what
bullshit job.
Dude, I honestly don't know. We were having exactly this conversation on my ride earlier. It was just like, you feel like you're missing something, but maybe it's good. Maybe we do have our head in the sand. We're bikers. We're doing it. We're doing a job because we like a fun thing.
I can imagine people riding or walking past Bren's new house going, I wonder what this person does. And you never think he's the guy that rides the bike down the hill really fast.
Yeah, for sure. I tell you what, he's not jumping over that house. I mean, he cased the old one. This one, he's fucked.
Dude. It does make me think, though. I'd love to hear from people in the like, what do you guys do for a living? What is our demographic? What, you know, and like you said, like, how do people afford to do, you know, the new transporter, the race at the weekend, the nice bike, the e-bike at home just in case? Yeah. Like, what do people do?
What's a transporter? What's a 20-plate transporter worth?
Probably 30 grand, I reckon. I'd say
30,000. So okay. So if you've got a finance deal,
I might be wrong.
Anything about.
I'm guessing that's what they are.
I've never done it, but what do you reckon that would be? A 30 grand.
Okay, so without revealing too much into my own personal financial situation, I did have a lease vehicle before, which was done through Leighton Vans, and it was done on a bit of a special friends deal and stuff. But that used to cost me £450 a month plus VAT.
Okay,
that's how much that was. So what's that?
So
£5,500, call it.
So maybe I'm being silly thinking that this car park, they had 450 entrants, by the way, so they probably had 400 of these transporters.
I love that we just wrap everyone in that bubble of like everyone drives a transporter and everyone was riding a Santa Cruz.
That's exactly it. That's exactly what I thought. I turn up, I was just like, motherfucker, and I'm like, they're bombing. They're all bombing. They're all loving racing. It's wicked to see. They're all wicked.
Yeah.
You know, half of them probably listen to the podcast, but I would love to know because it just. Yeah, I feel like I tell you what it is. I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I got stuck somewhere before inflation, where Freddos cost like 10p and Curly Whirlies, or Freddos cost 5p and Curly Whirlies were 10p, or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I got stuck then, and then maybe my wage got stuck then as well. And then everyone else is moving on, and then I always have old cars, and everyone's got like fucking these spaceships, dude. And then
it's crazy. It is, dude. I'm with you 100%. I mean, it's tough because you feel like you're doing all right, like everything's going well, blah, blah, and I'm not financially motivated at all. But then you do see certain things, and you go, "How? Like, what am I missing?"
And
like,
comparison is the thief of joy. But I just,
mate, I'm not that guy, but it is interesting.
No, I don't, and it's not because I don't want. I'm not bringing it up because I want it. I just find it amazing. I just fucking, it's so cool that biking is that big now as well.
Yeah, dude, with you 100%. It's good. It's great. It's great for the industry. I think it seems to be.
It's so good. I never went to a race that big when I was a kid, and this is like a local enduro race that I went to.
I still feel like whenever I did it. Okay. Two sides of this. I think the motocross side of it, you always had those few rich kids that were quite obvious. Like when I was growing up, people might know these names. You had Tommy Searle, James Lassou.
Tommy Searle's a cracking YouTube channel, by the way.
He is, yeah. But growing up, like they were the kids that, and actually Tommy wasn't from a rich family at all. They just, I believe, they remortgaged houses and all sorts to get him on these teams. But anyway, there was always like these rich kids that had like the big camper, the American fun mover, the two bikes and stuff. but there was a massive divide of like everyone else was just like roughing it. You know, the bikes weren't starting. That's what it felt like. And then if I fast forward a little bit to like even 4Cross in around 2009, 2010, I don't remember anyone having like the best shit or like, oh yeah, he's got like brand new this, or the only guy that stands out would be like Scott Beaumont.
Yeah, he would have
Mark
trick
Beaumont.
campers, didn't he?
Mark Beaumont.
Scott.
Trick camper.
Boom,
Scott. Boom, yeah, like nice fan, like nice bikes. He was like doing it better than everyone else, yeah. But everyone else was sort of like, it just felt like roughing it, and it's always felt like that. And then probably different now, I guess, if you go to a motocross meeting now, yeah, everyone's in a brand new van. Or do you think that's because, like, you know, what would you call it? Like leasing and stuff like that's become more popular. Like finance has become more.
That's probably
more
all
popular.
it is. I'm just.
Everyone's living on like. They've not bought that
I'm not
van.
Switched onto it. I don't know what it means. So I try and own stuff, which is stupid.
Same. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that is the difference. It's not as much of a difference as we think.
No,
it just made me laugh because I came over this hill and I looked down and I was like, "There's no way that's the mountain bike race." Even though, like, what are the chances of there being like a VW convention or a caravan club meet? What are the chances of that and a mountain bike race in the same approximate region?
Totally,
anyway,
totally.
Dude, what a turnout! It was so cool to see, and what a testament to perhaps to mountain biking, but also perhaps to enduro. Because I was thinking about it. Right there were. That for a downhill race, that's a lot of people that are willing to just throw it away with a puncture on their race run.
Yeah.
Whereas in enduro, you're getting 2 runs of 4 tracks, I think it was, for the Southern Enduro, and it's a full day out. You know, people are having to climb back up. They're going in groups. They've got approximate times they have to be at the top. It just looked fun and mellow and a good laugh. So. And it was
were you like tempted? Were you like, I could do one of these one day?
No, mate, it's wicked. I think it's well cool. I don't know. Yeah. I just ride a lot, so I rode there, rode back, then went to the trails. So I did a lot of riding that day, and I have to give up doing that much riding if I do a race, don't I?
Yeah, you do. That's true. Yeah, you can't be that guy that rides the race. That'd be sick though. There used to be a guy again with the moto days. He was an expert, a guy called Terry Moore, who was actually the world twin shock champion back in the day, before twin shocks started to really get popular. Yeah. And he used to turn up to the race on like an enduro bike, win the expert category, and then ride home. It's like the most gangster flex ever. It's so sick. You know, we were talking about cars before.
One day I'll do racing again. I just don't know when. Just when it's fun anyway. And whatever. Yeah, what were you going to say about cars?
You know, we were talking about, okay, so we spoke last week about premonitions and weird things happening, and then we just spoke about cars, and it led me into this beautiful thing that I forgot happened to me until now. Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you what I did this weekend as well. Yeah, please. So, sorry, I've blabbed on for a little while ago, only the last couple of weeks ago, I shared an article with you which was on a motorcycle magazine. It was called Varna, and it used to be called Meta or Meta, and it changed its name to Varna because Facebook fucked about with the Meta side of it. Anyway, it was an article of a guy called Riley Harper, and he's like a LA stuntman, super good looking dude, really into like, there's like that scene of like desert racing on old bikes, and it's kind of quite deity, and like there's like a vibe, and I don't really.
Is the salt flaps?
Yeah, salt flaps. Salty flaps.
Yeah, the salt
there's
flaps.
Anyway, so there's like that scene of like that. I don't think it's cafe race, but it's like old moto scene. Yeah. Anyway, he's into like classic cars and like. Anyway, so I started looking at this guy, and I was like, he's like pretty cool. Like I don't really do the jealousy thing, but I was like, good looking dude, supermodel girlfriend, ticks all the boxes. Yeah. He's got his shit together. He's only relatively young, sponsored by Tag Heuer, just this classy gentleman, right? And I sent you the article. Anyway, didn't really think much else of it. Kept following on Instagram. He used to be a YouTuber, so he's got quite a good YouTube channel. Watched a couple of vlogs. Anyway, and then on my phone, which is quite rare actually these days, and I'm flicking through Instagram stories. And do you remember when I did the 4x4x48? I had a friend come with me. He's called Chris. He came and ran one of the legs with me. Yeah. So I watched his Instagram story. I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Aston Martin. Nice. Next story, Riley Harper. Aston Martin. Weird. Next story. A load of people sat round a dinner table. paused it, and I'm looking, and I'm like, that's Chris. Like, what the fuck's going on here? And I like go back again through the stories. I'm like, why is my mate Chris with Riley Harper,
Completely
who I had?
unlinked.
Dude, there was like this Aston Martin launch influencer ambassador thing. So Riley Harper's obviously been invited there as like the influencer celebrity guy. My mate Chris is there working with a photographer called Tom Carler, I believe his name is.
Right.
Who's there photographing the event. And he's just sat there at the side of him. And I was like, what
are the chances, eh?
How weird's that? Dude, that's
Mega
twice
weird.
that shit's happened to me recently. I'm
Bizarre, yeah.
I'm freaking out. I messaged him. I was like, dude, are you with Riley Harper? And he was like, yeah. How do you know? I was like, I've just seen it on your Instagram stories. Like,
How
what
bizarre.
the hell? The chances of that.
He's annoyingly cool, isn't he?
Yeah, it's really cool.
I don't follow him, but I'm trying to unfollow him.
You follow him just to unfollow it.
Yeah, I might do, actually. But even that...
You want to follow
that
it?
works
Wait.
Now.
Yeah, follow him. Wait till he might see it, then unfollow him.
Yeah, I might message him.
Yeah, just unfollowed you, you good-looking fuck.
Yeah, piss off.
Wicked. So yeah, that was my
very
weird
strange,
thing.
isn't it? Yeah, I do remember you sending it to him. Now that I've just looked at him, then I remember clicking on him before.
Funny.
Yeah.
Other than that, dude, weekend-wise, not a lot. Been in bed.
You've been
I've
ill,
sick.
haven't you?
Yeah.
What's up with you?
Annoying. I don't know. Probably had COVID, I think.
Be honest. Is it the squits? Be honest. Is it the squits?
Is it the squits? It's been a bit of it, actually. Yeah.
You didn't have to seriously answer.
Mate, we talk real talk on this thing. Is it? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, man. I did that trade show a few weeks ago. I came back, felt absolutely fine. Got sick a few days after. Lasted for about 5 days. I've then got better. Dude, last week I ran a half marathon without even... I just went out.
Weird, isn't it?
Did it in the hills. Just did it. Rode my bike a few times last week. Felt absolutely fine. Thursday afternoon, boom. Just like, I'm ill again.
You're probably on the edge, though, aren't you? You're probably not quite...
I think I just ran myself down.
Yeah.
And this is what I do. If I am ill, I have this weird mentality of trying to sweat it out, which is probably an old wives' tale. Something my dad has probably said to me once. Oh, sweat it out. Sweating it out usually leaves you
dude.
it leaves you way worse off down the line. So my sweat it out is to go out and I'll be like, right, half marathon. I'm just going to go run a half marathon. And then I get in and I feel great. And then the next day, I'm ill again. And it's like rinse and repeat of that process. And then I feel shit because I've not exercised or done anything for a few days because you've been sick. So then you go harder the next and then it's just this cycle. So I need to get out of it. So my weekend was chilling on the Saturday, a little bit of a nice long dog walk. I think, longest dog walk. Sunday was really weird. I felt really spaced out yesterday. I know we're recording this on a Monday. So I sat in the garden and just, I got some binoculars.
Binoculars?
Yeah. So I was sat in the garden just looking at birds and stuff for like, no joke, dude, between 4 and 5 hours. I didn't move. I just sat there.
Binoculars, 4 or 5.
Yeah, like they were on and off. They weren't on the whole time.
It's so extreme. Oh, it wasn't on the whole time.
Not the whole time. I'd take them down, look around, find a bird, go for it again. Yeah. So the binoculars are relatively new to our house, and this is something that that my dad does quite a lot when he like either acquires a used car and there's something left in it. He brings it round and pretends he's bought it for you. And he'll go, here you go, like, I bought you some binoculars. And I was like, why are they like rusty and stuff, dude? Are they
imagine it's some
are they from a car?
Do you put them under UV light?
Is that what that is back there? God. Lacquer!
Davey, how many bikes do you think are stolen in the UK each year?
Each year?
Yeah, I just want to hear your guesses, dude. I want to hear your guesses, yeah.
I'm going to say it's somewhere between 8 and 508.
8 and 508. I wish you were right. I actually do wish you were right. It's 77.3 thousand That's between 20 and 21. So that's recent figures. That's a lot, isn't it?
That is a lot, man. That's
Did
a lot
you
more than
also
I thought. Yeah.
Did you also know a bike is stolen every 6 minutes in Great Britain, with 54% of thefts being from your home, dude?
Mate, that's tragic. That is tragic. Those two statistics have blown me away. Have you got any more statistics to share?
I do. It's one of I've got a lot today. I also I just hear them on the street. But I also heard 81% of bike theft victims were emotionally impacted by the crime. And in March 2020, most thefts took place while the bike was locked.
That's crazy, dude. Go on, tell me more.
Well, we want to help our podcast family avoid the drama, heartbreak, and inconvenience that comes with having your pride and joy stolen. After all, these people aren't just taking your bike, they're taking away your freedom, your enjoyment, and for some people, an escape from the pressures of life. It's a big deal. You've got to prevent it as best as you can.
So, that's why we have partnered with Lacquer to share with our family more information about their spring sale. We also have negotiated a zesty little offer, Ollie, for our viewers and listeners too.
Yeah.
Hey, Ollie.
Yeah.
Think this is some fly-by-night company? Think again, dude. Lacquer was voted best cycle insurance provider for 4 years running, my dude. 4 years running.
That's legit.
The awesome thing is Lacquer does insurance differently. And unlike most insurance companies, they actually aim to save you money on your cover each month. You see, Lacquer doesn't charge a fixed sum. Instead of paying at the beginning of the month for what damages an insurer projects might happen, Lacquer charges at the end of the month for what has actually happened. What you pay is based on the collective's total claims for that month, up to a maximum capped amount. It's always better to be in a collective, Ollie.
Dude, honestly, that is like a refreshing take on insurance. Insurance is one of those things that irritates me.
Facts.
But not with Lacquer. By insuring with Lacquer, you benefit from the following. Cover for theft and damage of bikes, kit and accessories, even during races. Some exceptions for pros.
Doesn't apply to you.
Hopefully not.
I mean the racers part.
True, yeah. 200 quid in emergency cash to be used for hiring another bike. Good for on a trip. Mm-hmm. Useful, that is.
Yep.
Or to get a taxi home from the middle of nowhere. It covers you abroad for 120 days and protects you if an airline damages kit. Claims are handled by real cyclists and are usually agreed within a day, so no waiting around. Cover starts from just £5 per month. Hey, Davey, dude.
Bargain. Yep.
Here's what we're going to do for our podcast family members. Head over to lacquer.co and get a free online quote. Have a little read.
Wait.
Sorry?
Lacquer.co.
That's right.
Is that correct? And they're going to get a free online quote on lacquer.co?
That's right. It's lacquer.co. Lacquer.co.
Beautiful. Okay.
Have a little read through
right
all the information and see if it's for you, dude. When you're happy, enter the code RIDE COMPANION. Lowercase, no space.
What was the code again? Let me have a little think about it. RIDE COMPANION.
Lowercase, no space, dude. And new
Lowercase,
customers
no
will get 2 months free insurance. Terms and conditions apply. That's lacquer.co. RIDE COMPANION. Lowercase, no space.
2 months free insurance. You can't get fairer than that. Thank you, Lacquer, for supporting the podcast. I'm heading there right now, dude, to get these whips insured.
Yes. Thanks, Lacquer.
So he does that, and he did it not long ago with some tea lights as well. He brought me like 250 tea lights and was like, "Here you go, bought you some tea lights." I was like, "They were left in the car, yeah?" And he's like, "Yeah." Yeah, you don't buy your 36-year-old son 35 tea lights, do you? You know, it's just not the thing that you do.
It's not really, is it?
Funny. No.
I know who will like these. Davey will like these, yeah.
Yeah. Look at this shit I found in a car. I know what I'll do. I'll drive it round my son's house and dump it off on him. You know what he did as well? Sorry to tell stories about my dad and hate on him. What he done to me recently, he goes, I bought these walking boots. I might have told this story already.
No.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Oh, I bought these walking boots. I don't really like them. They hurt my feet. You can have them if you want them. It's like, yeah. He's like, oh, they're really expensive. I was like, yeah, cool, man. That sounds good. I do like, I like walking boots. I ain't got any walking boots. I goes round to pick them up. Anyway, dude, he brings these walking boots out of the cellar that they look like a tramp's been wearing them for probably 10 years, right? They're dude, excuse my language. I know we swear a lot on this, but like sometimes when you emphasize it, but they were fucked, right? And he hands them over to me. I was like, you said on the phone that you just bought them. It was like, oh no, I bought them like years ago. I've done thousands of miles in them. It's like, so instead of throwing them away, you've just handed them to me as if it's a gift. They're just a pair of fucked old walking boots.
Not how it works, is it?
That hurt his feet because they're worn out, like the fucked.
I love that. That's too good.
Dude, yeah. More Steve stories.
My dad's. I tell you what, as soon as Maplin's closed down, my dad was fucked. He'd buy us the same shit every year. With batteries, he'd always emphasise, I've got your batteries as well. Always the same. It's like a de-icer.
Like universal remote. Oh.
Yeah, like a de-icer kit. What was it? He'd always get like a de-icer kit for everyone. All 4 children across the board, we just get a de-icer kit. Has the scratchy thing, the de-icer.
You're like, I'm 8, Dad.
A chamois. Mate, we get it every year. Every fucking year we got the same one. I must have 4 of them. And like, you don't use de-icer that much, do you? In the UK, it gets icy. What? Like, how often does it get icy?
I'd say out of the 365 days, 14, 15,
yeah,
maybe
maximum
more.
As well.
Maximum.
14,
yeah.
I reckon's max.
Yeah,
for me,
if
anyway,
it's really bad, like
yeah.
we're talking, as in, your heater after 10 minutes ain't going to do it. It's bad. Yeah,
you really need to spray de-icer and then use a chamois inside. Yeah, so all of us, we're all like stacked up. And then Maplin's closed, and then he's fucked. He couldn't get that anymore. So now I just don't think we have any presents anymore. Since Maplin's has gone, it was like that was the full stop on presents. That was like, yeah, presents. Done now. We don't do presents anymore. Maplin's gone. Sorry, nothing this year again. Couldn't find a Maplin's. I was going to get you a load of de-icer and some ice scrapers, but couldn't get it. It's like an electronics store anyway. I don't even understand why.
No.
He goes to Maplin's.
No. Mate, it's a nice vibe inside. A couple of geeky kids working there, I guess. Want to talk to you about computers and memory cards and shit.
That's what he gets. Travel torch. So it's a torch that goes in your car. And that also has a flashing red light.
Yeah,
that
maybe
every
a pen
year
knife.
As well. Yeah, so it's just like, I wonder what his thought
dad.
process. Yeah, what the thought process must be. I love shit presents. Actually, that's the best. I don't love them. I don't want more shit presents. But like when you actually think about it, I mean, his dad's just gone like this. What do they all have? It needs to be fair. They all need to have the same.
What my dad does at Christmas every year for his partner Karen, they're not married. Is and it's become a bit of a thing now. Every year he does it, so it's kind of lost its appeal. But the first year he did this was class. He went to Poundland and probably bought about 30 items, all just shit. Like, we're talking fake nails that someone had never wet. We're talking sellotape, like just shit.
Proper
and he just wraps it all up.
Nails.
Yeah, like wraps it all up and then just giggles away to himself when she's opening them, and she's like, "Steve, like, why do I need a tin of shoe polish?" It's just shit. It's just shit, and he loves it. And then a few years ago, I think we were like, "It's a bit wasteful, this dad. Like, he's literally just going to put it all in the bin straight after. Like, you literally pick it all up and just put it in the bin."
It's just like 30 like, shit, but
just give her 30 quid or just give it to charity.
It's funny to do that for a year though.
The first year, man, was class. Yeah. The first year was like, what have you done? Like, that's
and also,
hilarious.
it's giving him joy because he's walking around finding it funny. Like, he will have picked stuff up and been like, it's not shit enough, won't he?
Yeah.
I like the idea of that. I prefer
there you go. You can have that
presents.
one.
Yeah, I prefer. I think,
I feel like the surprise on someone's face when they've opened something totally shit is probably better than the surprise on someone's face, like if they think they're getting a PlayStation 5, but they've actually got, I don't know, a kitty litter box or something, and they're like, what the fuck? I don't even have a cat.
Yeah, it's true. I've got a few mates that say like they say stuff about how like, oh no, I've got to get a this, or I've got to get him this. Otherwise, they'll be pissed off. And I just can't imagine someone being
No.
pissed off with a present. Like an adult being pissed off is just fucking
We-
insane to me. I don't.
We've
really
always had
value
this thing where
anything
we don't do it.
Yeah,
like
it's good.
Christmas, don't do it. Just no, nothing. We just don't. It's
I
way
also
easier
I
that way,
think it's
isn't it?
lovely, but I just can't like. I can't even think of something I want that much.
No,
And then
no.
anything
I
that
think
I
you get
do
to that
want-
point where if you want it, you buy it. Like
Yeah.
simple as.
And anything you do want, it's like if someone got it for you, I just feel fucking bad.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? You know,
I'd
if
feel-
someone
yeah.
got you like exactly what you want.
I like
Feel a bit like, oh,
random
fuck.
gifts, dude. I like
Yeah.
like what's wrong with like a July gift or or just
Yeah,
any
it's good.
day really. It doesn't have to be July, but like any gift, not wait until Christmas. But yeah, we've always done that. First few years are a little bit nerve wracking, where you're like, "Are you sure you've not got me anything?" No, nothing. Promise, because if I bring nothing, I'm a look a dickhead.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've always had me and Emma have always had a good thing.
Yeah,
Good
me
thing.
and Georgie have nothing every year, but it's never nothing.
Is it not?
No,
Ah.
it's never nothing. I always get something, but then it's sort of I don't know. I just
Oh,
get
I
it
do
wrong. I'm
nothing.
just not good at it. I just don't want stuff. It's like I say that I'm surrounded by stuff, as you can see in my house, surrounded, literally with.
Yeah.
But I don't mind sentimental things that you pick up along the way. That's what I think they are.
Nice. Okay.
Also, this doesn't matter to our audio listeners, but I do have a jersey that literally says 23 and has my name on, and the joke is that is very narcissistic, but it's more of it's more of sentimental value to me. That's what I like. That's the sort of stuff I like having.
Who got you that?
That was just what I was wearing in Death Grip, and Death Grip was like the biggest. That was like
Did
such
you
a cool movie.
Buy it yourself?
No, it was a present. I can't remember
From who?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Had it for years. Had it for
Right.
a really long time. But just
That's
like
narcissistic.
you what? Sorry,
It would have
buying
been
it for
quite
yourself.
narcissistic.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, it is tough. I appreciate it, but it's kind of funny anyway.
Yeah, I like it.
having your own
Yeah.
jersey up is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it does also remind me of a time in life, which is cool. You know,
Yeah.
that's the sort
Dude, that
of stuff I'd like
section.
to have. But all of that shit can just all go in the garage when I have a garage one day. One day,
Hopefully.
I'll have a
Hopefully
garage.
soon. Hopefully
Fingers
soon.
crossed. Who knows? I'd love to have
Yeah.
a garage.
I've
you got a garage?
got a no.
No,
That's why
obviously you got
rooms-
fucking bikes in it. Yeah,
Full of shit. Yeah. Not shit. It's not shit bikes, but like it's just full of other shit.
yeah.
Dude, there's all. You know what I mean? For our visual listeners,
Mate,
you know. Do you know what I mean? Like
I hear
it's
you
bad.
loud and clear.
Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect representation.
I've got a little bit of what do you call it? Housework to go over. So, after our last
I
lunch
need
and
my-
learn.
Ready, Mohammed?
No, you don't. You don't. After our last lunch and learn, I had a message from one of our listeners who is actually in the military, and he said he talked about the Geneva Convention, because we talked about in our last lunch and learn, we talked about war crimes and obviously the laws of war and what governs what you can and can't do within a war. A very interesting segment, interesting / frustrating segment. If you haven't listened to it, it's on last week's show on episode 39. But this listener said the Geneva Convention is filled with exploitable loopholes, and he served in the military and said it made it very difficult. So he served in Afghanistan, and he said it was really the dress up game was impossible, because one moment someone can have an AK and they can be shooting at you. At that point, you're allowed to fire back. They can go in a house, get changed into a farmer's uniform, and they pose no immediate threat, and you're not allowed to engage in them. And if you
That's more
engage
like
in them,
civilian.
then you're exactly. And then that becomes that doesn't. I don't know how you say it. That would then be a war crime. That would then be a war crime. So, and another one was another one that he expressed frustration about was mine laying. He had to watch through a site people laying mines on the road, to which he'd lost personally friends, and you're not allowed to engage because they do not pose an immediate threat. So it requires an immediate threat to be posed for you to engage. So I thought that was really interesting. I love hearing from our listeners on anything that we talk about. It's always great to hear from actual experts, because I would say we're a couple of 1-2 non-experts on fucking anything. So it's good to listen to people who actually know stuff. So thanks for writing in. That was great.
Yeah, please. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. It's always nice to hear from people. I've got a somewhat... This isn't... dude, we're going to talk about bikes for a split second here, okay? So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Fasten those seatbelts. We're going in heavy. We're going in hard. We're going to talk bikes. Okay. Here we go. And I haven't prepared this as such, but I am going to talk about bikes. Something that I just found interesting, and I wanted to see if you'd noticed it. And I also... Let me set up what I'm going to talk about right now,
Please.
Actually. So... I was scrolling my Instagram over the weekend, and I'm friends with someone on Instagram whose name's Sandy Plenty. A lot of people will probably know Sandy. He's a owner of Trailhead Bike Co. No free shout-outs, but there we go. And Sandy posted a photo of a Husqvarna bicycle. And I thought, that's interesting. Sandy, this is a very nice compliment, Sandy, so thank me later. Got his finger on the pulse, I feel like. He's one of those guys who stocks cool brands, cool shop. He's got his finger on the pulse. And I seen him share this Husqvarna bicycle, and I just thought, interesting. Okay? That's my initial thought. Interesting. Yeah. And I seen the graphics on this bike. Imagine Jason Anderson's Supercross bike. It looks like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, interesting. Okay, Husqvarna. So I clicked on it. And I thought, okay, Husqvarna, they seem to be doing it right. They seem to be doing a lot of cool things. They've got some good ambassadors. They've got a few people making nice content. They're doing it, right. Because here's the big thing that I'm going to talk about. We've seen a lot of motorcycle brands come into mountain biking recently, I feel like. And, they're basically with e-bikes. That's the thing. Like, they come in, they do an e-bike. Yeah. And I thought, this is interesting. So, straight away springs to mind. We had Gas do it not long ago. Fantic, Husqvarna, Yamaha already have one.
Yeah,
and this was actually
Guido Shug rides for Husqvarna. I was just looking on my phone. My apologies.
There you go. Alan Milway too, also Husqvarna ambassador.
Alan Milway's a Husqvarna ambassador. There you go. Didn't know that.
So there you go. So anyway, I was thinking about it, and I thought, okay, this is interesting because, especially e-biking's blowing up, all these moto brands and stuff, it does kind of tie a little bit. So then I thought, I'm going to make some calls and I'm going to try to do a little bit of digging and seeing how this works and why all these brands are starting to get involved in e-biking, specifically e-biking. It's not really generic mountain bikes, right? So a friend of mine, Col, runs KTM bikes in the UK. I've done quite a stuff with Col in the past. We worked together on a few projects and stuff. So I called Col because obviously Col's been doing KTM for a long time. Now, the KTM name it's the same, but it's not the same as the motorsports side of KTM. So KTM motorcycles that we're aware of, it's not like a licensing. It's more of like a licensing deal. Yeah, so they've got the KTM brand name for these specific bikes. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. What's the history of that? And he was like, well, basically in about 2007, when e-bikes looked like they weren't really on the agenda, regular bikes were, KTM would... How did it work? Someone went to KTM and said, I'm going to butcher this story, and I'm so sorry. Someone at KTM was like, we should make a bike range, and they weren't bothered because that market was so minute to them. It didn't mean anything. It's like, why would we do bikes when we sell motorcycles and, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, they did a licensing deal instead, which has got a long history. So then there's a woman, a German lady, who was one of the head honchos at High Bike. That's how you say it, isn't it? HAI, High Bike. So what she done is recently she's gone to all of these manufacturers of motorcycles like your Gas and Fantic, and she's gone, I'm aware of a business model. I have a business model which works where I could basically make you e-bikes. So a lot of these bikes are all High Bike, just with different stickers on.
Interesting. There you go.
Yeah, apart from Yamaha. So Yamaha are doing it right.
They make a motor, don't they, Yamaha? So
they do a motor, yeah, and also KTM, obviously, because it's a different thing altogether.
Got you.
So basically, historically, the deal was that all these bike manufacturers, like your Huskies and stuff, were looking at the bike space and going, "There's not really anything there. The market's not big enough. We're a billion-dollar company. Bikes is nothing to us." So they just didn't bother doing it. So then I was speaking to Col about it a little bit, and he was like talking about how also one of the issues is if these, let's say, Husqvarna made their own e-bike, not with an existing manufacturer, and they sell it within their motorcycle stores, that motorcycle shop doesn't have the service backup. You know, let's say you go in there and you buy an e-bike and you break something, they then need an account with, let's say if it's Fox Shocks, they need an account with like Silverfish in the UK, or
got you.
You know, they need a cycle mechanic.
Customer
so
support,
it doesn't.
Otherwise, it reflects badly on their brand, kind of.
So it doesn't work for them just to start selling bikes, because Cole was saying with KTM, they've sold a bunch of them into like motorcycle dealerships, and it's just been a shit show because someone goes in and they expect that service and they just don't have it. Yeah, so I just thought it was really interesting. Like, you've got Ducati. I made a note of that. Ducati did one not long ago. Yep. Again, licensing deal. That one. Gas. That's a high bike.
Ducati was Rottwild, wasn't it? I think.
That's right. Yeah, which is also part of Audi. Is that right?
Maybe.
Audi. Someone like that.
Porsche, wasn't there?
That's what I'm thinking of. Porsche. They done one. That's the same brand. Yeah. I found it really interesting that now the industry, like you were talking about, transporters, a lot of money floating around. Now they're going, actually, maybe we do need a little bit of this, so we'll. I always
wondered about the original Honda team, because it felt like they were there. They were big news. They were a big team when Bren rode for them, when Minar was riding them.
Fuck yeah.
Obviously, Needles was riding them even before then, who we have on the podcast a few times. But like, why Honda chose to get involved? And it was interesting because they started. What Needles was on the team. I think he was riding like an Intense with Honda written on it, or something along those lines, a rebadged other model. And then they obviously thought, nah, fuck it, let's build an actual bike, and they made their bike.
Dude, I mean, maybe I'm off. That thing looks sick. Still to this day, I posted a photo of it on the Instagram today. I just put like dope or nope.
Yeah.
Because I still look at that and I'm like, that's fucking cool. Like, if they did that now, obviously with a little bit more modern geometry and stuff, I think it looks sick. And like you say, it's Honda. Like, imagine doing that. It'd just be so sick. Like, bringing some of that, you know, that motorcycle influence over, I think can't be back with the big, maybe the truck or just the factory appeal to it.
Well, they did, didn't they? They had Showa suspension people there and stuff. They had like Showa technicians there. I mean, I know we've had
Bren on loads, but I'd like to know more about it, like from Bren and what that was actually like, because that must have been
funny when he had that. We were literally in the workshop trying to prise open the box with a screwdriver. Was the gearbox? We desperate to know what was inside it. He didn't know, so we were like trying to get it open with a screwdriver. But it was really like closely guarded and stuff. It was cool. It was mega cool. The whole project was mega cool. I don't know if they carried on. I think maybe it stopped, and that's why it was cool. If it was now, and it was still a Honda team, whether it would have lost its like magic appeal, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's cool though, isn't it?
It's cool to look at, and also I was thinking and talking the other day with a friend about like Cannondale haven't got a downhill bike at the moment, right? But last year, through various sources and friends and stuff, they were invested like heavily in the downhill, like trying to basically make the best downhill bike. Like they were buying like everyone's bikes, they were testing them, they were doing the same with kit, like apparently clothing, they were wind tunnel testing everyone's clothing, they were really trying to get the best bike, and then it just disappeared. Matt Simmons was doing it, then it just went done. Someone on the spreadsheet just went nah. Same with Honda, probably just looked at it and went done. We don't need it. And it's just weird to think,
isn't it? It is fascinating.
It's interesting to talk about, where that Honda team would have gone if they were stuck in it, because they were ahead of the game, man. They were way ahead. If they'd have stuck with it, got into the e-bike thing maybe, and they'd have been way ahead.
I always love visiting Focus, right? Because every time I go in the Focus office, there is a lineup, because this office is where all of the engineers are, and where all of the ideas, it's just like a really cool office. It's like a modern workspace where everyone shares ideas and they're in and out riding, doing whatever. It looks to me, from the outside, like you want to work at the Focus office. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you go in downstairs, there's always a collection of rival brands. And I think it's so cool that they take it that seriously, to look at all all of the bikes that are hot, and they know exactly, like, all of the engineers are super, like, clued up and opinionated and understand what to look out for. So I always get a list every year I go there. I always get a list of which bikes they consider to be the best in the market and what they're kind of benchmarking their products off. And it tends to be in a performance way, not in a price way. So they're just picking the best of the bunch, and then and to be honest, it doesn't take long. You sit there and you talk with one of the engineers or with one of the mechanics, and they'll say, "Look, we just really liked this." It could be cable routing. They wanted to try out the cable routing. They wanted to do a certain number of miles on their trails in Stuttgart and find out whether this cable routing solution really works, or they might want to try out. Whatever it is, it's fucking cool, and
cool.
I love that about, like, just.
I guess that's the same in every industry, though. It's not like a bike thing; it's everyone's just
like
looking at each other's
competition
shit.
is sick. All we see is like the race competition, but ultimately every brand is like competing for. So I think that's why it's interesting when Honda come in, or when these other brands come in, because you're like, what are they? I'd love to talk to someone about that.
I guess Bren was the guy, really, and is the guy, one of the guys, definitely. But like, where was that going? What was the plan? Like, where were they trying to get to with it? What were they?
I mean, he wasn't. He was young. He was young then, so he wouldn't have had. And when he was young. He was like, he didn't care about anything. He barely cared about what tire pressure. He didn't care.
Yeah.
He was just quick as fuck and didn't give a fuck. So I don't know if he'd be the best person to talk to in terms of the bike development.
Yeah, maybe Greg would be great. Needles actually would be amazing. Yeah, Needles would be awesome to talk to about it.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think Needles rode for G-Force. I think he was on a. Was it called G-Force? Honda G-Force or something?
Yeah, I think it was called G-Force. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway,
something like that.
Yeah, it'd be wicked, wouldn't it? I love that stuff. Retro
Yeah.
bikes, big, aren't they? Like at the Malverns, you see there's like a massive collection of people with retro bikes, and it's
for sure.
I feel like it's just like a.
Wonder if there's any of those Hondas around. Has Bren got one?
Nah, as he fuck. They were completely set on crushing them, and they wanted it to all be. I don't know why though. I bet Martin Whiteley has them. It was his team.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
How interesting. I don't
Wasn't
know.
there
Is
one
it
on eBay?
Not. I don't know.
I think there was one advertised on eBay not that long ago, and there was all this like, is it real? Is it not real?
Oh wow.
I heard it was literally just a derailleur in a box with a cassette on it. It wasn't any more than that. Apparently it was, yeah. But obviously the chain's spinning because it's ratchet on the front. The chain's constantly spinning, so it meant that you didn't have to pedal to change gear. So it was good in that respect, but it wasn't like anything really groundbreaking. It was a derailleur in a box. I think it was literally a derailleur in a box, yeah.
That's genius. That's funny.
Welcome to the ad break. This week is brought to you by DMR Bikes, my longest standing personal sponsor and now a partner of The Ride Companion. I'm here to tell you about the all new Speed Guide. Not only did I run the original, I also helped design the 2022 model that I have in my hand right here. Features include a thermoplastic chain cage, a 7075 aluminium backplate, and most importantly, actually it's not most importantly, but it is a feature, it's called MagLink. You can see these holes here, they're magnetized so you can fit your split links on there, you never get caught short on the trail. All of that for only 30 Great British pounds. That's right, only £30 for the all new Speed Guide. Get yours on dmrbikes.com. Keep your chain on! Thank you very much for joining us on the ad. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, interesting though, man. It just definitely got me thinking more, especially after watching the Supercross and stuff. And
Davey coming in just hot with the bike chat, dog. Yes, dude.
All right.
We're a bike podcast. We don't
Sometimes
just do riding. We're a bike podcast.
There's probably other brands as well that I've missed that have had a crack at it, and it's just fallen flat on its arse. But yeah, credit to KTM. Seeing the foresight years ago, even, or however it is they licensed the name, killing it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, this Focus just launched 3 new bikes. You see that yet?
No, I don't know if is it a secret? Have they launched it or not launched it?
They'll be out by the time this podcast comes out.
Good. Yes.
So yeah, head to the Focus
Very
website.
cool.
And
Yeah,
check
head
that
to the Focus website. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Neutron.
Yep. Neutron.
Is that how you say it? I don't really know.
How do you say
Tron,
it?
But I think of it as Tron, but I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I was looking through the
Focus
stuff
website
earlier,
anyway.
man. It's dope. It's nice, like bikepacking bikes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
E-bikes.
again, it's a cool concept as well, and they've got a really cool
Yeah.
campaign with
Actually,
Harper, so.
Mo spoke about that today, and there's some really cool stuff that we can do with that coming up. So
Wicked.
we're gonna make people's dreams come true. Let's just say that we're gonna do some fun stuff.
Excellent. We always do fun stuff.
First cough for the episode. So there you go. What else did I have to bring up with you, man? What else we got?
Well, we've got
Okay.
lunch and learn, and we've got listener questions.
Yeah, we have.
And I'm
Should we do a lunch
excited
and
for the
learn?
lunch and learn because it's your lunch and learn this time.
It is my lunch and learn, and I did. These are hard to think of, actually. I really struggled with it, at trying to figure out what it is that we could try and investigate, and I did come up with one.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. As soon as you tell me, you have to start the stopwatch though, because that's
Okay,
what
so
lunch
here's-
and learn's all about. I love
Okay.
lunch and learn, dude. I look forward to it.
10 minutes, 23 seconds, and today it's probably not that good now. Because I am interested in this. I'm genuinely
right.
interested. Okay,
It's
here we
always
go.
good. I just like it's good to learn, isn't it?
10 minutes, 23 seconds.
Okay.
Today I want to learn about languages. Why do we have different languages? What is the reason for this? Why do the French talk French? Why do the Italians speak Italian? Why do people from Liverpool sound so strange? I want to know about this shit, dude. So let's find out the history of the languages.
Please, have you got a site up? Because this
No.
is actually fascinating. Because wherever you go in the world, like I feel like England's not the most dramatic for it. Like even in Jamaica, it's a much smaller island than England.
Yeah.
The dialect's so different to the point where they don't understand each other, and it's like, and that's like different offshoots of patois. Like it's so interesting that to me.
Patois? What's patois?
Patois is like the Jamaican language.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like
sorry.
a
Okay.
born of, it's a fucking crazy story for patois.
Okay.
I feel like patois is like a different subject altogether. But yeah, what have you got? Have you got something up on?
So I just typed in origin of languages, which brought up a Wikipedia
Yeah.
page,
Oh,
which we
nice.
usually end up reading for 10 minutes, and then we're none the wiser at the end of it. But I could read the first part and see if this gets us any closer to figuring out what the origin of languages is.
And this is on Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, because it is it's interesting, isn't it? Because there's like loads of like Latin, like people say that there's like certain languages are Latin derivatives.
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I feel like that's the original language is Latin. No, is that fair to say?
I really don't know,
either.
dude.
I really don't know either.
I
Okay.
feel like Lunch and Learn is going to slowly become me and you, like battling it out, trying to not sound the stupidest.
Oh, I've won. Forget it.
No way, dude. Right, go on. Let's start.
Okay, so the first part of Wikipedia says the origin of language, in brackets, spoken and signed, as well as language-related technological systems such as writing. Its relationships with human evolution and its consequences have been subjects of study for centuries. Scholars wishing to study the origins of language must draw inferences from evidence such as the fossil record, archaeological evidence, contemporary language diversity, studies of language acquisition, and comparisons between human language and systems of communication existing among animals, particularly other primates. Many argue that the origins of language probably relate closely to the origins of modern human behaviour, but there is little agreement about the facts and implications of this connection. The shortage of direct empirical evidence has caused many scholars to regard the entire topic as unsuitable for serious study. God. In 1866, the Linguistic Society of Paris banned any existing or future debates on the subject. Wow, a prohibition which remained influential across much of the Western world until late in the 20th century. Various hypotheses have been developed about how, why, when, and where language might have emerged. Still, little more has been universally agreed upon today, as of today, that's in 1996, than over a century and a half ago, when Charles Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection provoked a surge of speculation on the topic. Since the early 1990s, however, a number of linguistic archaeologists, psychologists, anthropologists, and others have attempted to address the issues with new modern methods. How interesting is that?
Dude, that's insane. So it's really unrecorded. It's really unrecorded, totally unrecorded.
Yeah, how is that? How crazy is that? Wow, okay. So, what else we got?
So obviously language is just sounds, but each one has to have come from a different place for them to have had... It has to have been developed in a different place, cut off. Like what I... God, I sound stupid there. How bizarre it is to me that like mainland Europe has all of these different languages and it's essentially one fucking island. Like if you zoom out far enough, it's just a fucking island, isn't it? Like it's easy to understand why we have a language in England, isn't it? And then a bloke's gone on a boat to America and then they use English language. Yeah, so that's like quite easy to understand.
Yeah. But
I've got an interesting... Yeah, but if it's like one landmass, that just must mean that you're cut off by what? By natural... is it literally just the river between one... It's one side of the river and the other side of the river. They say no or nine. Is that... It
must be, yeah. And how did they get to that word? Like, who's...
Yeah.
Made the word? Like, it's kind of crazy to think that at some point we've made every single word.
Yeah. We're standing on the shoulders of... other people, really, with everything. I mean, what
was the interesting thing you had?
I couldn't make that neon sign myself.
Dude, it's an interesting thought, isn't it? If everything went now, how long would it take before... Someone said this not that long ago, and I heard it, and I thought that's super interesting. If everything disappeared today, how long would it take before you can send an email? Especially
if the internet went down again. And so we lost all that information. Like, we'd have to rely on paper information. Like,
yeah. This is quite interesting.
Yeah, go on.
Ready? Early speculations. I cannot doubt, this is Charles Darwin, by the way, I cannot doubt that language owes its origin to the imitation and modification aided by signs and gestures of various natural sounds, the voices of other animals, and man's own instinctive cries. So, in 1861, the historical linguist Max Muller published a list of speculative theories concerning the origins of spoken language. So, bow wow, the bow wow or cuckoo theory, which Muller attributed to the German philosopher Johann Gottfried Herder, saw early words as imitations of the cries of beasts and birds. How crazy is that? That's so interesting. And then he's got poo-poo, the poo-poo theory, saw the first words as emotional interjections and exclamations triggered by pain, pleasure, surprise, etc.
I want to learn poo-poo. I just looked at the list of languages by first written accounts. That was quite interesting. So writing first appeared in the Near East at the beginning of the 3rd millennium BC. A very limited number of languages are attested in the area before the Bronze Age collapse and the rise of alphabetic writing. The Sumerian, Hattic and Elamite language seem to be the oldest. But then there's the Afro-Asiatic in the form of Egyptian and Semitic languages. I mean, this is...
You mean like cave drawings, basically, and like...
Well, I mean,
hieroglyphics.
The Egyptians are fascinating because they
are.
It seemed as though they got so far, and the Romans. I know
what's crazy is if that Library of Alexandria hadn't burned down, how much information was in that is quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Because they think that's where all of the records were, right? Of like maybe how they built pyramids or how the Sphinx was created or how they moved all those blocks from various places to create what they created and stuff. But they must have been, even back then, right? Obviously they must have been communicating in some way of talking. And
here we go. I've got a good one here.
Go on, son.
The earliest complete sentence known was in 2690 BC.
Wow. And what is it?
It's in the tomb of Seth Peribsen in Egypt. The sentence refers to the entombed king's father and translates as, "Do you know where you put the phone charger?" No, it says
oi oi.
It says oi oi. He says he has united the two lands for his son, Jewel King Peribsen. So I don't know. So he's literally just saying, "It's my land." That's the first sentence that any human fucking put together. It's my land and it's for my kids. It's bizarre, isn't it, dude? It's a fucking good one. Language, great job. That's a great lunch and learn. I mean, it's much too big to actually cover, but I feel like even that's interesting. Like the first sentence is 2690 BC, and we're now in what 2022.
22, yeah. It is. I think anything like this, it's interesting just to think about it, and hopefully people go, "I've never even thought about why we talk how we talk." I mean, that's not, and we're not even getting into like dialects and various, in your own land talk. This is like, how did it even start? Yeah. And to think that I thought we could figure this out in 10 minutes is absolutely ridiculous. But we gave it a good shot, dude, and we understand now that it was banned. It would literally couldn't study it for however long that was, from 1866.
It's insane.
It just was like, no, you can't talk about it. We're banning it.
Absolutely
no studies.
Insane. How much time we got?
We've got 44 seconds, so...
well, the earliest forms
explain
of
English...
how it works. Well, I thought it'd be interesting to see the earliest forms of English, and a group of West Germanic dialects brought to Great Britain by Anglo-Saxon settlers in the 5th century.
There you go,
so
5th century.
The 5th century, what does that even... I'm too even like that.
Does 5th century mean it was like 14 something? Are you always like...
5th century? No, 500.
Or 500 something.
Yeah.
I thought you went back one. So it's
so I think it is. I think it's that many decimal places or whatever. Yeah, so 500 and something for history of English.
3, 2, 1.
No closer. No closer, but I
interesting
enjoyed
though.
It. Yeah, interesting. That's what I love about Lunch and Learn. I come no closer, really, but I enjoy it all the same.
No, I enjoyed that. The fact that if someone brings this up now in the pub and says, "Where did language start?" you can say, "Hey, actually, in 1866, they banned people from studying it."
Yeah.
Pub winner right there, man. You're the smartest guy in the pub.
Why would they ban people from studying it? It's just bizarre, all of it. We have to... Yeah, there we go. Brilliant.
There we go.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great topic as well for the Lunch and Learn. Nice one, dude.
All right, great topic. Should we do some listener questions?
Let's do it,
and get out of here?
Yeah, let's get out of here. And also, we need to work out a guest next week, because we need another guest. I love guests.
Yeah, when's Darkfest
everything.
done? When's it done? Probably next
we're
weekend.
Getting Sam on, aren't we? Yeah, that's true.
It might be after that anyway, by the time he's back and whatever. Yeah, we need a guest on. I've been speaking to Jace at Gypsy Tales quite a lot. He's really keen to come on, but we just got scheduling issues, man. It's Australia's other side of the world.
Well far away, isn't it?
Well far away.
Yeah.
Oh, just actually, man, before we do
the other
list of
side
questions,
of the disc, isn't it?
It's on the opposite side of the flat thing.
Of the flat circular disc.
Did you know that this is our 40th episode?
Yeah.
And we did 40 lockdown companions.
No way, we're up to 80, so we got 20 to go. Oh, wait, no, you haven't finished yet. And how many Where's Ollies did we do?
Yeah, we did 4 of those. It's just interesting that lockdown companion was 40 and now we're at 40 of these. Just interesting.
You're taking the BC and the AD and the BC of languages. It is interesting, man. So, in a way, you could say that when we started Lockdown Companion, that was 2690 BC. Yeah. And we're now reaching 2020 AD. We're basically as far from the Egyptian language to the spoken English that we speak today.
Yeah.
As
wow.
I'm going to stop. Shut up, Ollie.
Please. Listener questions.
I think we're
listener
good
questions.
At it by now. Man.
Fucking hell, it's like pulling teeth, this shit. Actually, have you got a listening?
I do. Odessa, The Last Goodbye. They haven't released a whole album yet. I'm a big fan of Odessa. They've released just a couple of tracks off it. They're teasing us.
Oh, okay. I like it when they do that.
Dropping in June or something.
What they do.
So it's called The Last Goodbye. That's a banger for me.
Beautiful. We've been watching anything interesting, man? Give me some goodie. I
can't remember what it's called though. I've written here Netflix Con Woman, but it's something. It's like Making Anna.
Tinder swindler. Oh, Making Anna. Yes, yeah. Creating Anna, Making Anna.
Creating Anna, something like that. Yeah,
I watched that.
I'm watching that. It was funny at the start. It says, this is a true story, except for the bits which are completely made up. But that is because she completely makes things up, which I find interesting. Con people. Have you ever been conned?
It's good. Probably, yeah. I mean, dude, my ex-business partner used to do it to me pretty much every day, actually.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I probably have.
No, but an actual con.
No, not anything major I could think about.
With any people that you just fucking think something's off? I don't reckon I'd be conned.
No, I don't think I've been conned.
But I suppose no one likes to think they'd be conned.
Probably don't know about it. It's probably already happening.
Yeah.
It's probably happening now. It's a good series, that, dude. Like I said, and she's still in prison at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, you've watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Wicked.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's good then,
No, it's good. It's good.
Wicked.
Yeah, me and Emma watched it. It's good. Nice series. Really good series, actually.
Yeah,
Enjoyed it.
She's actually still in prison now.
Yeah, but she got let out, but then because she'd overstayed her visa in America, they put her in whatever that is. Oh, yeah,
what do you get? You get deported, don't you?
Yeah, but she's still in prison in America.
Yeah.
So he's got a documentary coming out about her as well.
There you go. I had a mate called Welshie, and he used to...
On people.
No, he used to hang out with a load of blokes. They'd buy a one-way ticket to go and watch the football abroad, and then they'd just get deported to come back.
Mate, why not?
He used to talk about it, yeah, but it was a cheap way of... Yeah. So you get involved in like fights and stuff and hooliganism, and then get deported to come back.
When I was doing
a real story, but
when I was in Australia,
nice for that, but...
Yeah, when I was in Australia, I met a lot of people that come and do the shutdown work that would come over, get credit cards, and run up a bill, and there was a specific amount of money, and I believe it was $10,000, where you could then just go home and they'd never chase you because it wasn't worth the time trying to find it again. Really? Yeah, like, dude, so many people used to come and do that. I never did it, but a lot of people would be like, yeah, just get a credit card, man. They'll never find you. Just go home.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have the nuts for that. I fucking... Yeah, I'm too scared. Goes back to the owning it thing.
Yeah. I've got a new song out by Mike Posner called Home, and it's a nice song. Big Mike Posner fan. That guy. Nice guy.
Yeah, nice.
Lovely man. Really
Is
like
he?
Mike Posner. Yeah, nice. Dude, he's legit. Like, he's not that guy that you think he is, if that makes sense.
Oh, cool.
He's really deep, spiritual. Writes really fucking cool albums as well.
Nice.
So there's that. And then also my watching is, I've been watching on Channel 4 a show called The Simpler Life. Seen that?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I've seen it advertised. I don't think I've watched it, though, no.
And it's about a bunch of people from all around the UK that basically go and live like Amish people in Devon.
No
way. And it's right interesting. And the most interesting thing, I've only watched 2 episodes, maybe 3. The most interesting thing about it is they've all done these tests before they go in about like blood pressure, anxiety, weight issues, and all of them start having positive impacts just after a couple of weeks. Yeah. So the woman whose blood pressure's high starts coming down, like the guy who can't put on weight starts getting buff. Like, it's good. It's really interesting.
Wicked.
And it just makes you think about it, man. Just fucking turn all your shit off. But there's some people in there that really can't cope, that just can't live without specific things, you know, like fucking chicken or whatever it might be.
Fascinating, dude. I've been turning my phone on to black and white mode, which is
good, isn't it?
It is a great way of just making you not like it. But when you said that, I thought of when I was in Lanzarote with Deeks with Ride Southern Spain.
Yeah.
We went to a hippie village there. It was fascinating, dude.
Oh wow!
So he just said it was like last ride of the trip. He was like, "Oh, do you want to? We've got a trail that goes through a hippie village." And I was like, "What do you mean a hippie village?" He's like, "It's literally like a fucking Ewok village. It was like an Ewok village. This place. It's just people living in mud huts. It's so cool. And this is, it's like a modern Spanish town. So then there's just this valley. I've got to say, I rode through it thinking, this is all right. It's like living up the trails. Yeah. It really is. They're in these mud huts. They're like, obviously there's like a real sense of community. There's like
you mean almost like how we should live?
Yeah. But I mean, there's too many people for it. We couldn't have all mud huts. It'd be too. No. You need civilization, don't you? It's a lovely idea, but I think very quickly falls apart. And also, then you just move back in time and you move to a tribal
it's just interesting watching people on this show even just try and live like in a community, and some people just can't. Like they just don't have that. Yeah, they just don't have it in them. Like they can't think for the community. They're just like, no, it's for me. This is what I want. Yeah. And there's one guy, man, and no spoiler alert, but he's really funny because he's ex-military and he just really struggles with the whole thing, like just the people, the bitchiness. And one day he just fucks off. It just disappears. He just goes walks AWOL. Off.
But is he still in the show or not even?
No, he just goes. He's just
sick
done.
of it.
Yeah, he just fucks it off.
It would be difficult. It would be very interesting. I think you very quickly realise why, why certain ideas in society exist. You know, like you think about prison. You think about prison. Just you write it down on a piece of paper. Like, what is prison? Prison is like locking someone up for breaking the rules. Who makes the rules? Yeah. We all make the rules. So hopefully we agree with the rules. But something seems barbaric about it, doesn't it? It feels like a disagreement, and a disagreement that ends in one of the hairless apes being locked up in a box.
Especially
it just seems barbaric.
Sure.
But
like murder, obviously.
Yeah, you do want it, because when you actually live in a society, maybe it's a shit example. I'm trying to think, like, there are elements of things that you like almost reverse. You would reverse engineer.
Like you should live in community. Like you should help each other. You should live like that. But we're so caught up in all our own shit.
Yeah.
And looking at screens and getting distracted by what's actually going on around you. It's like, there's this crazy fact, I believe, that and I don't know the figures, but there's a certain percentage of people that don't know the neighbour's name, and yet you live like next door, and you probably have so many things in common, and you can help each other out, and I don't know, it's just all that sort of shit. You know me, man, I'm a little bit on the hippie side sometimes as well. I'm quite like into that sort of stuff, but it does make you think. It makes you really think, like what are our days filled with a lot of the time? When really should just be outdoors. I mean, I had a great day yesterday. All I did was look at birds.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
That's all I needed. I didn't need a phone.
No, you're right. But then you did go into your house.
Exactly.
Afterwards you did go into your house. And but
again, there's that like primal, enjoyable thing of whenever you go camping or you are out in nature or you sleep better, like all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Perfect darkness, no screen before bed, all that stuff. We're so disconnected from that. Perfect segue to language and...
Yeah, you're right. You are right. And there are elements that are like... But I do think you just end up reverse engineering stuff. You end up loving the outdoors so much on your bike, you hit a tree, you require an air ambulance, and you're very happy that someone invented a helicopter and aviation fuel. Do you know what I mean? You do these things and then reverse engineer why you actually need them. You forget that everything is
I think with that show as well, and not to go again down another rabbit hole, but it's just like watching kids that are in it. So there's a lot of families that have taken 2 children, and just watching them just at first be a bit like, no iPad, no electricity. There's no electricity or power or anything like that.
Yeah.
But then actually just thrive in it and just be like, they just want to be outside. They just want to run around and be kids and just play in the water. Plant things it's just so interesting.
That hippie village I went through, I was like hola to these children, and it was like, and I got back hola hola hola. They look like they're having the time. They're climbing in trees. They're all filthy with mud. They're having a wicked time. And then one of them goes hello, and I stopped and I was talking to them. They're from Taunton, so they'd moved over there. Yeah, they're from Devon. So and I was just talking to these kids. They look like they were living the life, man. The life.
Wow. Fascinating. It's interesting. It's a good show, I dare say. Yeah, my mum was banging on about it for ages, trying to get me to watch it.
I wonder. Right, so how about these kids that like have grown up living in trees and that, and like running around in the woods? At some point, do they inevitably have to not rejoin society, because they are in society, but they're in a slightly isolated bubble?
Yeah.
At some point, do they then?
Yeah, I don't
know.
Have
we come so far from everything? So if you grow up just without electricity and chilling, do you get to a certain age, and does it all become very attractive? It's just a question. I don't know the answer. I don't know.
No, I don't know the answer. So you mean like for us at a certain age where it goes, or you mean the opposite, where it's like a kid, does it become more attractive?
If a kid grows up in like
out in nature,
out in nature, yeah. Do they get to a certain point and do they just think, Do they just literally realise how ridiculous when I turn my iPhone onto black and white, it makes me realise how boring my iPhone actually is. You know?
Does
would they look at the iPhone like I look at my black and white iPhone? When I put it on black and white mode, I'm just like, I don't even want to look at anything. It's so boring.
It makes a massive difference. That it's interesting. I don't know.
Or do they get to a certain age and they just think, you know, they resent their mum and dad. They're like, oh, I don't want to live in the mud hut. I want to live in, I want to live in the city.
I think this is a mass. Yeah, this could go on forever. I feel like this conversation, because it all boils down to all these like things that we've created, doesn't it? Of like school, or you know, being smart is because you've done these tests. Not necessarily smart like living in nature smart, or having the skills to start a fire smart, or it's all these like constructs that we've made that make you get the paper which says you can do this job and this job and have.
I don't know about
this
education and schooling. I think that's very important. I personally.
Do you think?
Oh,
I do say,
goodness,
I do, but I think again, living with Emma and seeing some of the stuff that she does with her job, working in education.
Yeah.
The homeschooling thing to me now, because I think we spoke about this before, but like homeschooled kids when I was at school were like the weird ones, the ones that were like, oh god, the homeschooled kids are a bit strange. Like,
right.
But now you think, are the homeschooled kids the ones that are doing it right? Like they don't have all the bullshit technology at school. They're outdoors all day learning actual interesting things, learning stuff that's actually going to benefit you in your life. Because a lot of stuff in school, dude, I don't remember. I mean, we don't even know where language came from. We've got. I don't remember much of it, and I don't know if I'm not good at maths. Pretty dumb, you know. And I did it for 13 years or however long you go to school for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or do you learn a lot of those skills just naturally, just being a child?
Yeah,
with other kids, obviously.
Yeah, I don't focus on like that's all the homeschooling thing. When I was younger, it wasn't about like it wasn't about like a lesser education. It was about less exposure to other people, and like you don't know how to like. I think personally, I want my child to be with as many different people as possible, to see that the world is completely different, to be ready for as many different situations in my head.
Yeah.
Like school to me, looking back on it now, I wish I could learn more, dude. I'm hungry to learn more. I wish I knew
I'm with
more.
You on that.
And back then I was like, nah, I don't want to fucking do it. I don't want to. And ultimately, I feel like what I was learning was that you just have to do some things that you don't want to do. That was the biggest lesson I've got from school and that I've applied in life. That like, to get a jump, you've got to dig the dirt. Digging the dirt isn't funny to pile up, isn't like an enjoyable experience, but you have to do it to get the enjoyment. And I think that is like, dude, you can't just sit and watch the birds.
No.
You can now because you've done all your work and you're a smart guy, but you can't just do it.
No, but with the homeschooling thing, as far as I'm aware, there's still a curriculum that the kids still have to do. It's just that it's more governed by maybe not just sat in a class just staring at someone telling you information. Let's say you're learning about fucking rivers.
Yeah.
How many kids go to school and actually go to a river? None. Whereas if you're homeschooled, maybe your parents go, right, we're learning about rivers today, right, grab your worksheets, get your backpack on. Yeah, it's raining, we'll be alright, we've got sandwiches and a cup of tea. Let's go look at a river and figure all this shit out. That's what I mean by homeschool.
No,
like a bit more active and a bit more...
But also, it relies on good parenting, doesn't it, though?
It does, and that's the issue, obviously. Yeah. It relies on parents having time, whereas at the moment, parents are at work trying to pay for the transporter and the e-bike and the house that they can't afford.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, mate.
We've come full circle. We came full circle there, dude.
Yeah.
We brought it all back.
Do you know that, again, I don't know if you ever watched it. I bang on about it all the time, but I absolutely love that Soft White Underbelly YouTube channel. That for me is just that for me is just like one of the best things you can watch. It's just like a study on human condition. It's just like you've got to just realise that none of the shit comes from nowhere. Like, these people have ended up there for a reason, and they literally lay out the reasons in front of you. And if you can't see that it's because they've had a shitter time than you, then you're missing the point. You know what I mean? Like, it was so good. I find it's almost like addictive to watch, because you just hear these stories and you just think, you poor fuck. Like, no wonder no wonder you're having a hard time in life. And it's like, what a lot of the time what they've lacked is like love and support and the things that you got and didn't even care about. And even the teacher at the front of the class that was telling you something you didn't want to know, they're putting effort into you. People that don't have that.
Definitely.
Yeah, obviously all of this is completely... But, I don't know. It's fascinating.
Part of a bigger conversation that I think is interesting to always keep an eye on. And
formal education. Let's do a lunch and learn. Fuck me. If listeners have made it this far, they're definitely not tuning in for the next one. Don't worry.
I feel like that whole thing, though, like the history of that is about getting young people ready for factory work, isn't it? That's why you have your 9 to 5 or 9 to 3, and then that's why you have your break. That's why you have bells. I'm sure there's like loads of facts about that's basically what it is. It's getting you ready to just sit and make stuff in a factory.
I thought, I don't know. Dude.
Might be
I
off,
thought it was because fucking penguins do it. Everyone does it because everyone's got to eat. Penguins have a creche. You've got to put the kids somewhere if you want to get the fish. I didn't think it was... It's an extension of that. You've got to put them somewhere. You've got to teach them stuff. Otherwise, they fucking... What are the penguins going to... They've got to learn something.
That'd be a good one next week. Education system.
Yeah, it would. I didn't think it was getting you ready for factories.
I think it is.
What, school... Is that how you want to see... Honestly, dude, that's how you view education in general?
No, I mean, it's not...
It's getting you ready for the factories. It just makes me miserable, that does.
But I'm sure there's like... I mean, think...
world is.
Go back. Think before our time. Think like Victorian era, dude. What did people do? Wake up, work for the man, eat some food, go to bed. What do you do with your kids in that time? Get them ready for that life. You didn't do much else. Am I right?
Well, we're offered a lot of freedoms now that we're not before, but I think...
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the
early schooling, yeah. Fuck knows. What, is it? As in it's like a precursor, it's like an industrial revolution thing, it's just like get ready for the factories.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're just a jellyfish if you don't learn anything, aren't you? You've got to learn something. Even if you hate school, that doesn't mean anything. I definitely reckon schooling arguably sometimes is too academic. And
okay, so the first thing that came up on my Google search was the modern education system was designed to teach future factory workers to be punctual, docile and sober. That's what it says.
Oh. Fuck me.
Dude, again. The education system as we know it is only about 200 years old. Before that, formal education was mostly reserved for the elite. But as industrialisation changed the way we work, it created the need for universal schooling. Factory owners required docile, agreeable workers who would show up on time and do what their managers told them. Sitting in a classroom all day with a teacher was good training for that. Early industrialists were instrumental then in creating and promoting universal education. There you go.
Mate, that makes me so sad about the world.
Yeah. I mean, started in Prussia. Is Prussia Russia?
Yeah.
Persia, Russia. Was that right?
I actually don't know. I said yes then before I know.
I don't know that either.
Prussia. Where is it? Let's have a look. That makes me so sad about the world that is what... But you... Okay, so that's the start of modern education, how it is now, like classroom education. But still, education can mean... It can literally mean how you catch a fish, can't it? It's like...
Yeah.
You know, like...
Totally.
Or like the penguins having a creche. It's just like where you put the kids and teach them stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But, like you say, if that's what it is, to get young people ready for going into a factory.
A factory?
I mean, dude, that's what it was, wasn't it? It's like cotton factories and like...
I don't know. I literally have never even... I've just thought about... I just think of it as learning. And learning is very important in my opinion. I never want to stop learning. I want to learn about more things. So I don't think of our education system as bad. I don't think of it as like...
So it says here, let's do a list of questions in a sec. Before the Industrial Revolution...
No, it's fascinating, dude. It's really good.
Before the Industrial Revolution, almost all poor children had no education. Could not afford to go to school because the school wasn't free. Majority of the population were poor, so the country was not as well educated since only the wealthy could afford schooling. After the Industrial Revolution, schooling was an important part of life. Nearly the entire country's children were all educated and the country was developing in power and strength.
See, I think of education as like freedom. I think of it as like letting people go.
1833, that was. That's when it came in. That's when the government made it compulsory to have at least 2 hours of education per day. 1833. It's not that long ago, dude.
Oh.
Is
So
it?
in 1833, it was still like getting you ready for factories. Is that when it is that?
Yeah, that's when the Industrial Revolution
Yeah.
popped off. By the looks of things, yeah.
See, I think of education as like, you know, it relates a lot. I'm sorry we're banging on about it. I find it fascinating though. It's good
It is
conversation.
interesting. I find that really interesting.
Yeah. I think of education as like freedom. It's like the people in Russia right now. There's a big majority of the people in Russia right now that believe that their leader is doing a good thing, and that's because they're poorly educated. They don't have the information. Like actually knowing gives you the opportunity to do something about stuff. Like education is like the best thing ever, isn't it? It's like before we lived in a world where you were educated, you would just literally believe the bloke could just be like,
but that's
the bloke
the thing.
in the town, he could just be like, yeah, my dad can fucking jump over trees.
But do you not think though, at some point, do you not feel like you are? I agree. But do you not feel like you're told one thing though about everything? Okay, so just for an example, like we are at school, we were taught about the Egyptians, right?
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of data now of like what you were taught in school. Like forget about it. It was all wrong. You know, they've now predated them.
Yeah, I feel like a curriculum changes though, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. I agree. Yeah, sort of though, because they don't really change it because it gets sort of stuck in this like, well, this is what we teach kids, and it takes so much work to change it.
Mate,
and then the education system then gone, yeah, all these kids we've been teaching for 20 years, all these people we've been teaching for 20 years, it's all bollocks. Like we got it wrong. Yeah, it's weird. It is weird. You're told. I agree. You're told one thing, but you're not taught. But you're not taught to critically think. You're not taught to look at evidence.
Critical thinking is bad. Yeah. Critical thinking is something that should be taught more. You know, I do agree with that. Do you know what I found really crazy when I was in Jamaica? They have a curriculum that's based, or they have in the past had a curriculum that's based off the UK education system, because obviously it was the Queen owned fucking Jamaica or whatever. I don't know. I'm too stupid. And I'm too stupid because we weren't taught it. We weren't taught anything about all the bad things that, you know, Americans, whenever I go to Rampage, Americans make jokes about limey redcoats. Tell me we learnt about that in school.
No.
I don't even know what it means.
No, you're right. There's a lot of shit.
You know?
I know you can't be taught everything.
That's what education is. You know, it's like for me, that's good. Nowadays, it's great that we have the internet and we have libraries and we have ways of looking stuff up and verifying information, and like I feel like without that then you're sat in Russia thinking that bloke's doing a good thing. I mean, all of the information that I have about that allows me to acknowledge that I think something bad is going on. Do you know what I mean? It's very difficult because all you can do is take information you're given and do what you can with it. But
totally interesting.
God, that's good. We could talk for hours, I think, dude. After all, this is good, isn't it? After nearly 80 episodes, we still find stuff that we can talk about and be interested in.
Yeah, totally. I find all that stuff actually fascinating about schools and stuff like that, and the education system.
I never would have. That's it's so interesting to me that it was to get people ready for factories. It makes me so sad, things about the world like that. Like when you find that out, that was,
But it does make sense if you think about it. Like, get them in. That's what time you're here. That's what time you leave. That's what time you have a break.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But then, so was school 100% negative for you?
No, not at all, dude. Love school. Like, enjoyed it, but I think from a very early age, really early age, I knew it wasn't going anywhere. Like, I knew that.
Interesting. Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to. It sounds cliche, but like carve my own path. Like, I wasn't going down the college or uni route or anything like that. I knew like quite early. Yeah. And also, I think, you know, from a not a bullying standpoint, but from an outcast standpoint, from an early age, dude. Like, I was always that weird kid that, you know, we've spoken about this a million times, but like that kid that didn't fit in because I didn't play football or I was like the weird kid. So yeah, I always wanted to be out there, dude, and carve my own path, and always was interested in business and stuff like that. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was negative at all, but I definitely probably don't give myself enough credit for just being like, nah, this isn't me. And at the time that you weren't allowed to think like that because you're in that system of like, no, you come here till you're 16, then you get 6 weeks off, then you come back again until you're 18, and then you go to uni, and then you get a house, and you get a kid, and you're in that like system. And I sort of knew from an early age that this isn't for me at all.
It's interesting.
I
think I'm off on stuff. Because I have like even the fact I was fucking bullied by people has turned into a positive for me. Do you know what I mean? And even just that I had to go and sit down and sit through some of those lessons that I didn't want to be in, ultimately is good, because it's meant that I know that not everything is fun, if you know what I mean. If everything was fun, imagine what the world would be like. It'd be a mess. You know, it'd just be chaos. Like, you have to work for stuff that's good, like good stuff. But juice is worth a squeeze or whatever. You know, you have to crack some eggs to make an omelette. All of these different things that I would say would help in life. I don't know. I'd love to learn more now. I'm frustrated with my younger self. I'm like, fucking pay attention, dude.
Yeah, so
it was free. It was right there.
It was free.
Could have just paid attention, and I would have got all of that information.
But I grew up in an era where it was, you were the cool kid if you didn't pay attention, right? Whereas hopefully now it's different at schools, and people are like rewarded for being smart. But you didn't want to be the kid that put his hand up and knew the answer. Also, you didn't want to be that guy.
Also, your brain wasn't developed. There was too many other things you were thinking about. Really, there was too many distractions. There was too much stuff I wanted to do in the world. I didn't think that I needed to learn about French.
Which is why, like, again, talk about education. But like, look at this. Yeah, look at the Swedish, how they do it. You know, kids don't go to school till they're 7, so the kid actually learns to be around the family, learn what they want to learn, be a sort of a human. Whereas you just sort of, I feel like this word's quite strong, and I probably don't mean it in this way, but you're like indoctrinated into a system of like, this is just what you do 9 till 3:30 every day.
Really, yeah.
And I just don't. Yeah,
I guess there's elements of it that are built around a capitalist society, maybe, but then that'd be the same in Sweden. But you know, mum and dad have to do. I mean, my friends that are parents, I think, do an amazing job. When I see how much work it is, I did a shoot the other day with Papa John's kid with Cut Media actually.
Oh, nice.
And just you know, you really see. I normally go in like Uncle Dickhead, get them riled up, get them excited, and then I piss off and I don't deal with it. But when you actually see the effort that goes in to all our big shout out to all our parent listeners. That's right, all the parent listeners. That's right, to the Ride Companion. It's a tough job, dude. Yeah, and I wonder whether some of our schooling is based around. I think people probably fucking welcome schooling. I think I'll welcome schooling. I want my kid to go and meet as many people as possible and
it's tough, man.
Get a kick in the nuts and learn about how the world is. Yeah,
we should do something for a single parent.
That's a nice idea. Yeah, I mean,
I like
that's a fucking tough job.
Stealing the idea a little bit off Theo Von, who does something quite often. But let's have a think. Let's do something for a single parent. Let's hook them up with an evening out on us or with the kid or something. I'd like to do that. It's just nice to do, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a good laugh. The dating went so well. The dating segment went so well. Maybe single parent.
Something's going to catch. Just keep throwing those fish out.
But, exactly.
All right. Tell you what does catch.
Go on.
Listen to questions.
Please do.
Okay.
Boots and cats and dance.
Listen to questions. That was alright, man. I'm impressed. At Jack Wellesley, opinions on town wall tyres.
I like them, and I hate them sometimes. I think there's a place for everything.
I think they're good for a photo shoot every now and again, but you don't want to be that guy riding them.
Is that so? Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like some people love them. I won't.
Yeah, I used to run them on a dirt jump bike loads, but I think I'm just playing Blackwall now. Yeah, I think so. But then I don't know if Goodyear just brought out something new, maybe a grey wall, maybe clear just natural rubber tan wall. Maybe I'll be up.
Dude, I heard a rumour Goodyear have got a sick new tyre coming out. Have you heard that rumour?
I've heard the rumour, dude. I've heard the rumour. Davey, shush.
Alright. What else we got? At Johnny _MCC. One for you, Ollie.
One for me.
Is Ollie going to be testing the new X Fusion wireless dropper?
See, I am. I haven't so far, and I can't believe it was just like it was quite cool because it was the other day. It was like leaked in like X Fusion's Insta story from Sea Otter.
Oh right,
and it brought me back. It brought me back to like when companies
like
launched stuff at like Sea Otter, didn't they? They like launched stuff at Sea Otter, and then you waited another month, and then it came out in the next month's magazine, and then it would have all of the fresh produce from Sea Otter. It was quite cool.
So they just leaked it on Insta stories. That's cool.
Yeah, they just leaked it on Insta story. So yes, I will be. We're meant to be shooting the launch video for it, and we haven't yet. So I will be soon. Very excited.
Great. There you go.
Very observant as well. By who was that listener?
That was a good one. At Johnny_MCC. That one totally passed me, dude. Very, very good. Not only has he noticed the lever, he's noticed that there's no cable attached to the lever.
There you go.
Very, very smart young man.
Nothing gets past Johnny. Nothing gets past him.
Someone said something to me the other day which really got me. It was so funny. What was it? Oh, I can't remember. Someone mentioned something on the podcast. Like there was something had changed behind me. I'd moved something, and we're like, "Why is that not there anymore?" It's something really fun. Like really fun.
Your neon sign is looking trick. I'll give you that.
It's fucking
it does
dope,
look trick. Yeah.
Thank you to at Neon Filter. Kyle Gibbo Gibbs. Have you or Odub ever ridden clipped in?
Have you?
Yeah. I was that
stereotypical
guy. No, stereotypical guy on the road bike who used them for the first time and fell off outside my mate's house while his dad was cutting the lawn. I like propped myself up on the wall and then couldn't get my left foot out. Fell over. Stereotypical guy. His dad peers over the wall, Jordan's dad, and goes, "Are you alright?" And I'm just laid there in lycra. You know, you can probably see a little bit of the old pipes there. You know, it's just awkward lycra, isn't it? It's an awkward thing. If you're not on the bike, you feel awkward.
Well, generally, if you're like folded up in a heap on the floor and someone
with a bike attached to your legs.
Yeah.
So I other than that, dude, no, never even doesn't appeal to me at all.
No, I've ridden clips loads on the road bike as well, but not on a mountain bike. It's just terrifying to me. The bike's got a mind of its own. It's having a wicked time out there. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm riding on the back of a wild beast. I want to be clipped into it, dude.
No, not at all, mate. Too busy jamming.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, this is a good one. At @we_Leela. Any tips for building my first trail on a small bit of hillside I have access to? I've never dug anything before. That's great. That's a great question.
Really, and what a great
and I'm going to hand it over
as well
to my trail digging master, Mr. Wilkins.
Well, hi there. Honestly, David, that's too much. I think a good start is just do your first. Just go one corner at a time. Would you agree?
I agree. Yeah. And if it's only a small hillside, really try and put a lot of corners in.
Cram it in.
And try and get the most out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be shy with a little bit of a pedal just up a little bit more.
Yeah.
After
Don't
a few
be shy.
Corners.
I agree.
Drop back in.
Yeah. So I also So if a good way of like missing out on. A good way of not making mistakes is to know what the mistakes are. So a lot of the mistakes are people cut corners and they try and make stuff as quick as they can. So just imagine the corner that you want to hit, not the corner that you want to build. Because the corner you want to build is like 3 shovelfuls radius. It takes around 2 seconds. And that is simply too easy. It doesn't work like that. You have to make it so it's a corner that you actually want to hit. So yeah, I would dig a rut first. And then I would hit that rut and I'd find out which way it pings me. And then where it pings me is where I put in my next rut. And I think that's a good way to start in a way that you will continue your trail corner by corner to perfection.
Beautiful answer. At @we_Leela, keep us posted, dude. Want to see what you're building.
Let's see it, yeah.
Chalky45, Idiot's Guide to Software to Edit GoPro Footage.
There you go.
Let's hand over to our resident idiot.
I use iMovie, dude. And Clay Porter told me, this is Clay Porter, he said to me, dude, it doesn't matter what the software is. It's all about the cut. That's what I'm talking about. It matters about where you cut it. Yeah,
nice.
There you go.
Yeah, I've Chalky 45 iMovie. It's free on Apple computers.
Yeah.
Recently, though, I'm learning a new one. I'm learning something called DaVinci Resolve, which is what our editors and our producer uses. And it's confusing as all fuck. So don't bother. Honestly, dude, it's like you've played on teletext all your life, and then someone's giving you an iPad. And you're just like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, it's tough.
Dude, use iMovie and also always learn the shortcuts. That's something I got from teaching myself graphic design when it came to like using Illustrator. The shortcuts make life so easy, especially in editing. So in iMovie, it's Apple B. I didn't even know that. I knew that. I just put my hand on my keyboard. Apple B means cut. So you just cut, delete. Be ruthless. Delete loads of it. I can't tell you how many years of footage I've probably deleted from my edits. Not to say my edits are the best, but yeah, you've got to be ruthless, and I think Apple iMovie is really good for that.
It's all right.
Really
Apple, it's great for a little bit of edits like that. Once you start doing podcast, it is a bit more difficult. Especially if you've got different video files, split screens. It's kind of confusing. But yeah, GoPro footage, dude.
Like for instance,
iMovie is the one.
For instance, this shot where Ollie and Davey touchingly put their hands together. That takes better software than Apple iMovie. Yeah.
There you go, Benny. Sort out. Let's swap places. Couple more. At Matchpole, how's Ollie's ankle injections been going? Not heard him moan about it for a while.
No, I'm afraid they've worn off. It was fantastic while it lasted, and it was good to know exactly where the pain I get is. But I'm afraid I'm in a lot of pain a lot of the time, and I've been using the walking stick more and generally hobbling around. But life is good. I'm enjoying biking, and life.
You got a walking stick?
Yeah.
Really?
He laughed at me.
I just thought of a funny nickname, but I don't want to say it because it's cruel.
Go on, do it. Odub.
Ollie Osborne.
Do you want to see my walking stick? I'll get it for you.
Because he has one, doesn't he? Ozzy Osbourne, right?
Yeah, he does. He does. He's got slippers as well. He sort of shuffles. I don't really shuffle. Yet. The night is young. I'm getting my walking stick.
Please. I hope it's got a massive snake's head at the top of it, like Super Gangster one, or like a ball or something like that. That'd be the fucking best. Okay.
There it is.
Nice. What is it?
Now, it's a walking stick that Grampy gave to me. Nice. It's a nice one. It's more like a cane, actually. I need to get the bottom on it. But it's quite noisy. You can hear this. That's an annoying noise. But I do use it from time to time.
It's for the people who live underneath you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's terrifying.
Exactly. But I do use it time to time. It's amazing. You don't... I remember thinking, what good can a walking stick do? But it makes life a lot easier.
Good on you.
If it hurts,
Should we do one more?
Yeah.
Let's do two more.
Yeah, why not? I'm enjoying it. We've got a long podcast today. That's right, 2 hours of content.
Ryan Hawes, thoughts on Matt Jones' new compound?
Oh, mate, it looks amazing. It should be called Teletubby
I haven't seen
Land. It looks like Teletubby
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Does it really?
Oh, he'll kill it there. Well done, awesome. Matt. He's won, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He has won. He's killing it. Okay, I haven't seen it, so apologies. I'll check it out though. I know he's got a new video series out, which obviously the first one in Lockdown Companion killed it.
Yeah.
Lockdown, sorry. There's a Lambo bought off the back of that, so this thing's going to be
pretty
hectic.
Yeah, he's got a brilliant setup. Like Ben, his filmer, is a lovely chap. They get on really well. They got Hellfare together, and they've got the compound, and they've got the channel. It's just cool to see people just killing it, isn't it?
It is,
and
mate.
He's a lovely chap, and I look forward to going there as well to Teletubby Land or to whatever he ends up calling it.
Yeah,
it does look like
sure.
Teletubby Land. I don't know how he's found.
I'll check it out.
Land. Yeah, do.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Someone's asking about Christmas Ride already. Ready for a Christmas
That's good.
ride.
They're keen. I like it.
We're ready to go, man.
Wicked.
Okay. Okay, we'll end on this. Where is it? Oh, where is it? It was a good one. It was about the podcast. Oh, Ollie Stevens, MTB. What is your favourite and least favourite parts of the podcast?
I'm going to struggle for least favourite, personally. Do you know what I love the most? And it's easy to say right now, but I love the most when we get on a tangent and we get stuck on it and we end up talking. Because when would you have a conversation like that? It's almost like I'd have a conversation like that on a ride. If me and you went out for a ride and we talked about, like, let's say, like, for me, that education conversation was fascinating for a number of reasons. Because I hear things from your angle and they're completely different to my original angle, and then it enlightens me to a new thing, and hopefully the same vice versa, and that's a good conversation, isn't it? And that's what I like about the podcast.
That's exactly what it's about.
That's what's kept us going for all 80 episodes or whatever.
True, yeah, true. And I'd struggle, man. I don't have a least. I'm extremely, as people will hopefully get, extremely proud of this thing. Even before Ollie started, I was proud of it, and now I'm extra proud of it because it's a thing. And there's nothing. There's nothing I don't enjoy about it. Other than I can think needing a piss after 2 hours. But apart from that, we're good.
The thing I can think of is if I turn up unprepared, because I don't actually turn up unprepared. I make notes, and if I turn up completely unprepared, I feel like I'm not doing my best to make it good. If you know what I mean. So I feel like a bit of like responsibility, but I guess responsibility is always a stinker, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I do. That's probably mine. Actually, thinking about it, like today, before we recorded this, I was literally sat here thinking I ain't done anything for a week. I've been ill. I've not done anything, and here we are, 2 hours in. I don't know. So it's very strange. It's a very strange situation, but honestly, can't thank everyone enough for supporting this thing.
Absolutely.
You know, we've got neon signs now, so
exactly.
You know, some people have Lambos, you know, merch drop, whatever. We've got neon signs, dude.
Yeah, we've got
transporters. We've got neon signs, dude. So we're on the come up, and we're all coming up together, and that's what I love about this thing. You know.
Yeah, I do.
So these things take time. We've got merch, signs. Let's go.
Let's do it, dude. Yeah.
Big up everyone who listens. Again, if you're listening right now, wherever you're listening, leave a review. Whatever platform that is, you can leave a review. So leave a review, subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe again, and if you can share this episode and give it a like. It's a lot of things, but you know what to do.
It's so many things. And
it's
also,
so many things.
You can do all of those things, or you can not do all of those things, and we'll still love having you along for the ride.
We will. We'll still have you along for the ride. Thanks to Lacquer for supporting the podcast. Ride Companion gets you 20%. No, it doesn't. Gets you 2 months free.
2 months
thank
free.
you as well to DMR Bikes. Love the little ad you've done already. Killed it.
Speed guide ad. Yeah.
Speed guide ad. So that's out now. Go check that out, folks, at your local bike shop. And that's it. And that's that. We'll see you in another week for another episode. Episode 41 of the Ride Companion.
Ride Companion. Big up, big up.